Well, hello, hello. Good evening to everybody. I want to welcome you guys. It is what? Tuesday night? Can you believe that we're already at the end of the year? Yikes. That's all I got to say is yikes. I want to welcome each and every one of you guys that are here right now. And I also want to thank you in the replay for watching the show. Every single one of you guys. Daryl Long, hey, sweetheart, how are you? How you doing, Vine Dressers Branch? Mike. Oh, hello. The Jet. Is that the Jetty Yule 7? Hey, happy Tuesday to you too. And of course, my sister and armor bearer, none other than Sandy Aaron. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. We're looking at tonight none other than Primetime, Mr. Man himself. Yeah, we're going to look at Deion Sanders. And there's a few other areas about Deion Sanders that I'm going to talk about that perhaps a lot of other people have not spoken of. I'm looking at some of the intricate things that he's got going on. Let me get this banner to change up. I want to thank you guys in advance for those of you who are going to hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit the bell notification so that anytime we go live here, you will definitely be somebody that gets a notification. Hopefully, all things being equal, because it don't always work like that. But I do want to tell each and every one of you, welcome, welcome, welcome as well. If you want to give to the channel, don't be shy, baby. You can give. Ain't nobody going to hurt you. Ain't nobody going to stop you. We definitely going to take it and put it to good use. You can do that right here. You can do it via snail mail, as one of our mods calls it, snail mail. And if you're, like my children who call me or just do this to me constantly, cash apping me, you can cash up if you'd like to. Nonetheless, everything as far as giving to the channel is in the description box as well. You can also go to our main page and you can look at some of the affiliate links. Do you feel like you're getting a little coffee, scratchy little throat or something? You can go to elevationtime.com and you can visit my page there and you can get some products from Dr. B's website. Let's get right into this. Now, here is the thing that I want to talk about. Everybody and their mama's got something right now to say about Deion Sanders' departure from Jackson State. But I thought that he did exactly what he was supposed to do when he got there. He did. He did everything that he was supposed to when he got there. He did what he said he was going to do. Got to get the lip gloss accurate because sometimes it looks like gum when I'm looking at the replay. And I'm like, what's that on your mouth? Well, we know it isn't. But anyway. So a lot of people have a lot of things to say about him. And a lot of Black people are very critical. There's the guy, I forgot his name, G. Willikers. He is a Black guy who just got married not long ago. His name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Oh, man. You should see the memes that he's got about him over there on Instagram. He is ragging this guy terribly. He's ripping him a new one every chance that he gets because they're saying that what he did, Deion Sanders, they're saying that he left them. He lifted him up a little bit and then he ran away. But the funny part about it is I never see anybody saying this when anybody else decides that they want to make a move. Now, one thing I'll tell you is I did watch the 60 Minutes interview that he had last month. When he was asked the question, well, would you consider going somewhere else? He said, sure, right. Why not? That's what he does. That's exactly what he does. He does what he's supposed to do, and that is he's a coach. And here's the thing. These companies are constantly recruiting. They're constantly looking for new people. Whether it's a regular job or whether it's the type of job he has, companies are always looking for the next best thing. Now, I also want to put this out there because I want to ask you guys what you think about this. Do you think quite possibly that he was getting a lot of backlash for some of the things that he was doing there in Jackson from the people at the university? Why do I say that? Because if you remember just a few years ago, right before he came, and even right at the very beginning when he was still there, some of those things were dying up. There was so much misappropriation of funds that was going on there at that campus, even to include prostitution rings, if you guys remember. That was in the news. I'm not making any of this stuff, and this stuff is all, you can find it. It's all public record. But all of those kinds of things are going on. Well, he came in and he did what he was supposed to do. And he did what the alumni should have done. He did what the parents should have demanded. And he did what the community should have demanded. And that is take care of the university. Take care of where they were playing. Now, we're going to get into some stories here. And I want to see what you guys are thinking about down here in the chat. I want you guys to keep it going. I want you all to talk about it. Talk amongst yourselves. Do I see Derek C. Williams? Hey, Derek C. Williams. There's my Mississippi brother. He says Mississippi's own, but Biloxi, Mississippi's own. Felicia Lockhart, long time no see. Hopefully you'll visit. Well, I do go to your channel and I do watch you, but I was saying, where is he? So I had to go to your channel to see where you were. How about that? Hey, Flow State. Yeah, 10 gave Lane Kiffin more. What is that? Mortal. Let me turn a mortal hell when he left Southern California. They all do. They all do, Sandy. High anxiety. How are you doing? And we all know the media doesn't stretch the truth. Not by any stretch of the imagination, high anxiety. I mean, they're right there being like the moral compass of society. But the deal is that a lot of people gave him a really hard time. They wanted to know why he was going in the first place. They felt like he wasn't the person for the job, and he persevered and pressed through all of that. I also want to get into his amputation. I want to talk about his leg. Unfortunately, he suffered amputee. He's now an amputee. His toes. And I want to take a timeline because I got to connect the dots. We're going to look at the timeline as to when this happened and after what event did it happen. Then I want to look at some of the individuals there at the university who succumbed to some pretty adverse effects after his conversation with everybody to go out there and get everybody. He urged everyone to do it. Okay. So the first story that I want to look at is right here. We're going to just dig into the whole first piece. The first piece that I want to look at is the amount of money that everybody's saying that he is going to make. Now, he made roughly, his base salary was roughly $300,000 there at Jackson, right? Roughly, but there's some other layers that was there. Then I also say that I understand that he added back to the university close to $100,000 and some odd to help get the campus where it needed to be. This is not going to be one of these sensational stories that just look at the hoopla of it. No, we're going to do some true digging on what this cat is up to. All right, we're gonna do some true digging. Let me give you guys the entire screen as I always do. All right, and we're gonna just get right into the beginning portion of the story. It does go on to say that Deion Sanders, aka Coach Prime, is leaving Jackson State for Colorado, and at Jackson State, Deion Sanders' base salary was $300,000, and at Colorado, Deion Sanders' base salary may be north of $4.5 million. Well, we know that it is because we saw what the cumulative number was in another. May even be in this piece, but in a specific piece. It says that Deion Sanders and Jackson State are having quite the month. Though Jackson State isn't playing for an FCS National Championship, the Tigers are set to play in a second straight Celebration Bowl in about 2 weeks. Now, Sanders has announced that he will be taking over as head coach there of the Colorado Buffaloes. And let me tell you something, I did put a request into his son because I wanted to see if I would have his permission to show the actual walkthrough of the university. And let me tell you something, baby, that university ain't no joke. That university is no joke. Now, they were some losing sons of a guns, but when I tell you the alumni takes care of that particular university out there, they take care of that school. They really do. And it is gorgeous. It's excellent. And it's really sad because he had to come to Jackson, one of the poorest places in the state of Mississippi, one of, not the poorest, but definitely one of, and he had to turn it around. Now he has injected life into this campus and injected life into the belief system of all of those that he touched. And now he's gone on. Well, because that's what people do. When people are motivators, that's what they do. They can't hang around forever. They got to do something because there's other people that his life is assigned to. And I submit that he should be spreading himself around as far as his assignment is concerned as much as he possibly can. Hey, Dub Will, I want to thank you so very much for that wonderful super chat. You sweetheart, thank you so much. But I believe, Dub Will, that he needs to be spreading himself very, very near and wide, far and wide. Okay? Especially considering the fact that he is now has the toes amputated. He had the blood clots. He was in the hospital. That could have taken him out of here. He needs to sow as much as he possibly can. Okay? He needs to sow because Mississippi is a very corrupt state. I'm from there. Derek is from there. We love home. All right. But we do know that where you get a lot of our hands digging in money, something ain't going to come out right. Somebody somewhere, okay, is going to put their hands in the cookie jar. Just like we said at the top of the hour here, what was going on before he got there was misappropriation of funds, including a prostitution ring that was taking place there with some of the administration there in Jackson, right? That was going on. There was a lot of stuff going on, and there was a lot of money that was not being funneled where it should be funneled. Case in point, why would you have to go and ask Walmart to give you a field? And why would you have to go to a high school and do your practicing? That's just a question. It's just a question. Why would you have to do that if you're doing what you're supposed to do? So who can blame this guy for leaving? I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. And Brett Favre did do a lot of dirt. He did the state dirty, and the same energy is not being placed on him. Absolutely, Derek C. Williams. Did we forget that Brett Favre did go down there and take all that welfare money? Oh, come on now. We got to keep it real. We got to keep it real. I'm glad that I've not watched anybody's response on this, although a lot of people that I do respect greatly have touched this topic. I've not watched theirs because I don't want it to mar what I think. I've seen their headlines. I've seen the labels and the lids on the videos and all that other stuff to tell you that that's what they're talking about is this. But I'm coming from a totally different perspective. I mean, I know they're probably going to hit a lot of the points that I'm hitting. But what I'm saying is people should leave folks alone. If this man wanted to leave, let him leave. He did a good job, better than what they did there. And here's the truth about the situation. Somebody down there is not going to like him long while he's in Mississippi. And eventually they were going to try to run him out of there anyway. It doesn't matter how successful you are. If people are not doing what they're supposed to do on any job, you already know they're going to run that person out one way or another. Okay. All right. But I did try to reach out to his son and it wasn't timely enough. But I wanted you guys to see, and I'll probably get a hold of the link and put it down below in the description for you guys. His son is doing an exceptional job with their social media, and he captured each and every bit of the conversation that he was having with the with the main guy down there up there in Colorado, and they were walking all over the place. I wanted permission to show that video. I didn't get it, so I'm not going to touch it, even though I have the ability to use it, for commentary. I'm not going to do it. But then there's also one other video, and he says, hey, you know what? You guys have probably seen this one. He says, I'm coming. We coming. We here. This man is very strong and powerful, but there's also some things that are nefarious that I'm not going to let go. And I'm going to connect the dots and show those to you as well. So to continue what we're saying here, Deion Sanders Jackson State and Deion Sanders are having quite the month. Though Jackson State isn't playing the FCS National Championship, the Tigers are set to play in a second straight Celebration Bowl in about 2 weeks. Now, Sanders has announced that he will be taking over as head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes. So now it asks the question, how much is Deion Sanders' Colorado contract? Well, no one has the exact amount or the exact number yet. But early reports out of Colorado point to a base salary north of $4.5 million for Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders' Colorado deal, well, in leaving Jackson State University to take on a new deal at Colorado, Sanders, aka Coach Prime, definitely has his work cut out for him. The Buffs have secured just one winning season in the last 16 years, and the 12-pack will be much tougher than the SWAC, SWAC, Deion Sanders' new contract. How the Buffs created Deion Sanders' Colorado deal. As many college football analysts and coaching carousel experts have pointed out this season, Deion Sanders' departure from Jackson State felt inevitable. Deion Sanders' salary, the Colorado offers a big raise for Coach Prime. And if early reports are to be believed, it appears that Sanders' salary is being multiplied by more than 15 times what he made at Jackson State University. With a raise like that, it's hard to blame Coach Prime for jumping for a new coaching opportunity. Now, Deion Sanders' Colorado press conference. Here it is. We are using this by permission. I'm using this because I can, because it is for commentary. I do not own this. but I'm definitely using it for commentary purposes. All right. This just might be a part of his son's battery, but not the ones that I wanted. Okay. But we're using this just to have commentary. So I will be breaking in and out as he speaks. Okay. I'm going to mute myself on this side because I'm going to need to hear it over on the opposite side. So hold on just a second. I'm going to mute me and then I'm going to play it for you all. Hold on.
Thank you for joining us today. It's official at the University of Colorado Boulder. We're ready for prime time. What do you say? I want to start by saying on behalf of Congressman Joe Neguse, our CU System President,
I want to make sure you guys can hear it. So hold on, because I don't know if you could hear it or not. Could you hear it? Derek, could you guys hear that? Or Michael? Hey, Michael. Can anybody hear that? Could anybody hear it? Yes or no? If not, I'll go ahead and see, can I tweak it for you? Hold on just a second. Then we're also going to look at, is it Bonami or Bomani, who had a lot to say about him leaving? There's a lot of people that have a lot to say about him going away, and I think that it's pretty crappy. 5x5, the sound is good. Okay, so cool beans. Let me just go back on this side then. Let me hush. Never mind in my Emily Rutella voice. Hold on.
Todd Solomon, members of the Board of Regents and Regent-elects, all of whom are here with us today. I'm thrilled to welcome Deion, Coach Prime Sanders, to the University of Colorado as our 25th full-time head football coach. You know, a figure of Deion's stature truly needs no introduction. But in addition to his impressive career, first as a player and most recently as a coach, I'm struck by his ability to connect with his student athletes and lead them to success on the field and off. In addition to his 27-5 record at Jackson State, Coach led the team to a 90% graduation success rate, proving his ability to not only build great teams, but also young men. And I'm thankful that he decided to join us, and I'm confident he will elevate our program and our university in ways we've never experienced before. I'm also very thankful for our athletic director, Rick George, who worked tirelessly to conduct a nationwide search. Yeah. For a nationwide search for a coach who would return our football program to prominence while also fitting in with the culture and values that make CU Boulder so special. Rick set out to make a transcendent, transformational hire, and he succeeded. Any endeavor this big takes a team, and I'm excited to announce that from the administration standpoint, we're working to give Coach and all of his student athletes the tools they need to succeed. In conjunction with our faculty partners, we're updating some of our transfer credit review processes with a program that seeks to enhance across for all prospective transfer students and student athletes, providing expedited assessment of transferability of academic credits from other institutions to be accepted at CU Boulder. This not only promises to benefit student athletes, but also Colorado residents who decided to go to another university but want to come back to Boulder to finish their degree. This new initiative, combined with the NIL Collective and our existing resources for student athletes, which I feel are among the best in the country, will set our football program up for long-term success, both on and off the field. Finally, I'd like to thank our current football student athletes who endured an immensely challenging season, but always represented themselves in the university with incredible poise. They remain among CU Boulder's best ambassadors, and we're excited to support their success moving forward. As I've said many times before,
Now I do want to stop it there only because I don't want to use too much of it, but I want to point out a couple of things that he said here, and they are notable things that he said. The first thing that I want to point out is that he gave all praises to God. That's what he said. He gave all praises to God. He also made sure that he was very eloquent in the way he spoke, and he did say the obvious, and that is that they do, that they did show out for him, and that he appreciates it. But did you notice how he just automatically said your quarterback? Can you imagine this cat went in telling him what's going to be and what it ain't going to be? Now, in the video that I wanted to borrow from his son that I never got a response back from because obviously the time is tight and there's no telling what they're doing and where he's going. There was a point where he said that there was a point that he made with the fact that he told the cats that were there, the football players at Colorado, some of you guys aren't going to be here. And the portal, he mentioned the portal as Sandy did. He mentioned that portal. Okay. A lot of cats going to be jumping in that portal. Okay, for whatever direction they're trying to do, whatever they're trying to do, they're going to do it. He even mentioned, somebody asked a question about the cat that's injured on the Colorado team with the big wheelchair, poor thing, bless his heart. He said, well, you either going to make it or you're not. And I'm paraphrasing there, but it's either going to make it or you're not. One of the two. But he's not joking. He is a coach by every definition. He is a coach. And this is what he does now. He mentioned the fact that he is an amputee. Let's take a look at some things. I want to take a look at what he was caping for not long ago. What he was, telling everybody that he really wanted them to get out there and do. This is a tweet. All right? This is a tweet. Let me see. Is this the one that I want? Yeah, this is a tweet. This is from his Twitter page. Hey, Grace Me, this is from his Twitter page. This is his Twitter feed. This was prior to the unfortunate blood clot and unfortunate situation with him having to have his toes amputated and a large portion of his leg taken out as well. He has to have therapy on that leg every day at this point. So let's go ahead and let's get that going.
Walmart being here today is an urgent reminder of the importance of all eligible people 12 and up to get vaccinated, man. And Walmart is equipped to give that message to over 5,000 Walmart and Sam's Club locations, giving free vaccinations. Did I say free? Free vaccinations. People, it ain't no excuse.
One of the reasons this is very important, because first and foremost, we want to preserve life. Everybody talking about what they would do, what they're not going to do, what they don't trust, what they do trust. We trust a lot of things, but we need to trust the right things. One thing about this vaccination, it preserves life. I want a chance to win. I want a chance to dominate. I want a chance to take this university yet and these young men and women to another level. How am I going to do that if I'm not here? So having this vaccination is something that I've done quite a long time ago, but our goal is to have 100% of these jokers fully vaccinated before the season starts, before the kickoff September the 5th. We want 100% of all these young men and women vaccinated, not just the persons on the team. I mean the equipment team, the trainers, the support staff, and as many other students as possible. That's our goal. Life is everything. You can't win if you ain't. Think about that.
Tomorrow, Walmart will be on campus again with a vaccination clinic to the campus and community from 9 to 4 at the College of Science, Engineering, and Technology. Hey, you can't beat that. They're coming to our crib to help us.
I'm going to leave that right there. I don't need any commentary. Those of you who follow me know me. But let's connect another dot. I want to read this to you. And so what I want to say is, when you have the Pied Piper of Hamlet that everybody will follow, it can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing because everybody followed him to a certain extent. Okay. That's the reason why I said it is important for him to get to as many youth or young people that he can over the next couple of years. Because like many of us, none of us know when the expiration date for our lives are, unless, of course, we're doing something that would speed that up. But I definitely think that he is on this trajectory that he's on. And I think that it's in the ether where you can feel that he is doing what he's doing, because in a minute, you never know. So let's take a look at one of the other stories that I wanted to read to you guys. All right, so that's that one. Then I wanted to look at this one. It's one of their basketball players there at Jackson State University. It's one of their basketball players. Okay, I want to give that to you. Let's go ahead and read this together. All right, this young man right here, Geronimo Warner, a former basketball player at Jackson State University, passed away. They like to say he was a former basketball player, but he was a student. The university announced the news on Wednesday, and I'll give you the date of this as soon as I come out of this immersive reader page. The university announced on Wednesday, saying that they are mourning the loss of Geronimo Warner, a management major from Phoenix, Arizona. Jackson State said that they are extending their deepest condolences to his family and all those who knew and loved him. The cause of death was not immediately available. According to Jackson State University's basketball page, Warner was a guard on the team. Okay, and here's their full statement. Jackson State University mourns the loss of Geronimo Warner, a management major from Arizona, and extends its deepest condolences to his family, friends, and all those who knew and loved him. This loss affects the entire Jackson State community, and we send thoughts of comfort, understanding, and compassion during this difficult time. We encourage any member of our campus community in need of grief support or locating counseling resources in your area to please contact LaTasha Norman, who is in the Center for Counseling Service, and there's the phone number, as well as her email is listed. It goes on to say to please keep the family and friends of Geronimo Warner in your prayers. Okay, that's that. One other thing that I wanted to point out was this particular issue, a very serious issue, because he was very, very adamant that, where is my story? I hate when I do this, but I have a story, and he was really hard on, oh gosh, what's the guy's name? Here it is. Isn't this it? Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. I gotta be me, you guys. I have to connect all the dots. I can't just come here and not connect the dots. I gotta do what I do. Okay, this is from the Clarion Ledger, and I want to give this story to you as well. Okay, here you go. Here you go. Let's take a look at it. Clarion Ledger, and this is him having his conversation about Aaron. Okay, here you are. This is it. Let me give you the immersive reader. Hopefully you can still see it. No, you can't. Hold on. I wish they would fix that. That'd be awesome. That's it. There you go. All righty, Fifi. Deion Sanders criticizes Aaron Rodgers for jeopardizing Green Bay Packers, saying, quote, I'm a team guy. He's a team guy. He needs to get around as much as he possibly can. He needs to duplicate himself right now as much as he possibly can. As often as he can, he must duplicate himself. Whether he touches white boys, black boys, Asian boys, Hispanic boys, men, this man must duplicate himself with all the testosterone and the masculinity that he has and the old school teaching that he has. This man right here must. He made some mistakes, obvious ones that we can all see. Again, connecting dots, there's no need for me to go into it. But what I'm telling you is this man is like all of us. He's got an expiration and he's got a clock. Let me give you the entire screen like we always do. All right. Aaron Rodgers, he says, quote, Aaron Rodgers deserved everything that he got, Deion Sanders said in the latest episode for his podcast, 21st in Prime. Sanders, the Jackson State football head coach, pulled no punches when he said that Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers jeopardized his team in a recent COVID-19 vaccine controversy. Rodgers was recently fined nearly $15,000 by the NFL after he tested positive for COVID-19. According to a USA Today report, Rodgers had been approved for an alternate treatment before the season started that allowed him to be considered the same as any vaccinated player. After testing positive, Rodgers had to quarantine for a minimum of 10 days, which led him to missing week 9. The Packers lost 13-7 to the Kansas City Chiefs November 7th. Sanders addressed the controversy, which has grabbed national headlines for weeks on his podcast. The Jackson State Tigers coach said, as the leader of the team, Rodgers should have gotten vaccinated, saying, quote, "If you have the majority, 85 or 90% of your team vaccinated," Sanders says, "then you're the leader, man." Primetime sideline. There's a couple of stories here that you guys can read. Click those when you get to this in the description. But the story we're reading goes on to say that Sanders offered up more talking about how much worse the situation would have been if it had come later in the season. Quote, "Imagine if they were in the playoffs and this happened. Then you personally, single-handedly cost your team an opportunity, a whole year or work and turmoil and toughness and pain and agony, all because of a decision," Deion Sanders said. 2 weeks before the Jackson State season started, the Clarion Ledger reported that Sanders was fully vaccinated and had been for some time. However, he did commend Aaron Rodgers for holding true to his personal beliefs, saying, quote, "I applaud him for standing for what he believed in," Sanders said, before saying that Rodgers' reputation is not stained and the situation will cool off. So that came from USA Today. I had to read that to you because this man should be on a mission. This man is on a mission. He needs to be. Because right now, there are a lot of young men who don't understand his method of coaching in regular life and in the regular world, because we're dealing with people right now that believe that everything is okay and that your way of thinking is the best way, even if it's a watered down version of what men used to be long ago. This is the Lockhart perspective, and this is my thought process on this topic. I'm going to look at a couple of other stories that I want to touch base with you guys on. Okay. This is going to be, I want you guys to see his tenacity. Well, first of all, just as we're connecting the dots, of course, we had to have a whole bunch of fact checkers come out. So let's take a look at that, because they tried to do some fact checking. And of course they should, right? Yeah, right. So here it is. The fact checkers. This comes from Reuters. And Reuters says, let's just do the fact check. Let's make sure that our biggest cheerleader is cleared, because we don't need none of this mess. All right. We want everything that we were saying originally to be what it is, even though right now, today in 2022, December, CDC and everybody else, including Pfizer and all these other folks, are backpedaling with public statements and additions to their websites that go contrary to exactly what we were being told for 2.5 years. Like it or leave it, love it or lump it. Toughen up, cupcake. It's my perspective. So the fact check, let's get down with that. Let's just get it all here. Fact check: NFL Hall of Famer Deion Sanders had toes amputated after surgery complications. They're saying it was not after the vaccine. Social media users are falsely claiming that the NFL Hall of Famer Deion Sanders had 2 toes on his left foot amputated due to blood clots from the COVID-19 vaccine. The clots stemmed from a previous surgery, however, according to Sanders. Now, the text in one post reads, quote, "NFL, MLB star Deion Sanders pushed the vaccine agenda heavy. Just had 2 of his toes amputated because of 3 major blood clots," closed quote. Sanders shared a clip from the Coach Prime documentary on his Twitter page with the caption, quote, "I told y'all we were going to show it all in this documentary, and that's what this is." I got to warn you, this ain't a pretty sight, it says. I may have lost a couple of soldiers in the battle, but I never lost my faith in God. At Barstool's Sports at SMAC. Okay? That's what it says. The documentary, which airs on Barstool's platform, tells the story of Sanders as the head coach of Jacksonville State University. Jacksonville State University? Goes on to say that an article published March 8th, 2022. See some unique stuff in there. 2022 on Andscape interviewed Sanders on the history of his injury that led to the amputations. A trainer noticed 2 of Sanders' toes were jet black after changing his bandages following a surgery on his foot in September of 2021. According to the article, after immediately being admitted to the hospital in October of 2021, he was diagnosed with 3 blood clots in the arteries of his left leg from the back of his calf to his ankle. Sanders had a family history of blood clots and had 8 surgeries in 3 weeks, in part to save his leg, including amputating 2 toes. Reuters reached out to Sanders' reps for comment. Sanders has spoken about having received the C19V and encouraged others to receive it. In a video posted by the Jackson State Athletics on August 19th, 2021, Sanders said that he had been vaccinated for quite a long time. Many news organizations have reported on Sanders' initial follow-up surgeries, and they are visible here, 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 and here. All right, so here's the verdict. What is the verdict? Well, of course, the fact checkers of Reuters says that it's false. The NFL Hall of Famer Deion Sanders has spoken out about having had 2 toes amputated due to blood clots following a surgery on his leg. The article was produced by Reuters fact check team. Read more about our fact checking work here. When you get this, you can click that hyperlink and it'll take you to it. So what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that? Well, here is him showing how he has made tremendous strides, right? Tremendous strides having had this challenge. And he's still a very strong coach, still a very strong young man. All right? Still a very strong young man. However, I'm going to say this, that we as a people on this planet, continent, place, plane, whatever, we're very gullible. We're very, very gullible. We don't mind believing anything that somebody tells us for whatever the purpose. Now, I want to show you guys a couple of other things. This is the guy. First of all, I wanted to lay that out there. But let me get back to one of the other things. And one of the other things was this. I wanted to show you how do you say this guy's name? Bomani? I'm going to call him Bo Jones. Bomani Jones is very critical. And if I could, I would take you guys over to my Instagram page and let you see exactly how Dr. Boyce Watkins was also very critical, quite rude, in my opinion, very jealous is what I would say. He's got a lot of femininity about him. And I used to really like him, but I can't deal with all the femininity. If a brother going to be a brother, be a brother. We don't sit up here and talk about the man because he's doing something for himself. But again, I believe that he knows that he's on a timeline. Bomani. Thank you. Bow. Here it is. Let me give you the full screen so we can get through the story. He's got a lot of opinions about Deion Sanders. All right? A lot of opinion. He's got a very, very big mouth where he's concerned. But that's okay. A lot of these cats do. Here's my problem. Even though you may not like what this man is doing for himself, just shut up. Shut up. Be quiet. Let that man do what he needs to do for himself. Because that's the funny thing. Everybody that has a gig Unless they own their own company, well, they could sell it. But everybody that has a gig is always open to going to the next best thing or the thing that helps them advance. Anyway, let's get into the story. In recent events, if recent events have taught us anything, it's that loyalty has no place in college football, a sport where only one thing is sacred: winning. Even if it feels like a betrayal of the highest order, Deion Sanders' departure from Jackson State, a program built from the ground up, that he built from the ground up, was always inevitable. A mere product of natural selection. Mirroring nature itself, college football is a delicate ecosystem comprised of apex predators, bottom feeders, and everything in between. Sanders, to his credit, discovered his place on the coaching food chain early on, identifying Jackson State as the perfect starter school, a necessary step on his evolutionary chart. Sanders isn't any more or less of a villain than Brian Kelly, Lincoln Riley, or any other coach guilty of leaving their program for better opportunity elsewhere. It would be hypocritical to criticize coaches for doing this when players are essentially doing the same thing, exercising their free agency by entering the transfer portal in mass. That said, it's easy to see why people would be turned off by Sanders' abrupt exit, leaving Jackson State for a Pac 12 afterthought, coming off a miserable 1-11 season. Quote, "You can't have it both ways. I don't judge him for taking the job at Colorado. It probably increased his salary by something like 15 times," said longtime ESPN personality Bomani Jones while appearing as a guest on CNN this morning. Well, he continues with, "There's room to criticize him for the way that he left and for the fact that his initial rhetoric is not in line with his ultimate decision," closed quote. Now, there is no way to leave a program without hurt feelings. Just ask Randy Edsall, who, after coaching UConn to its first BCS appearance at the 2010 Fiesta Bowl, didn't board the team's charter bus back to Connecticut, instead traveling to Maryland, where he was ultimately named head coach. Jones understands why Sanders, a Hall of Fame former NFL Defensive Player of the Year, would abandon Jackson State for a Power 5 program, albeit one without much recent success. What he wouldn't have done, however, is promise to make HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, relevant again, only to leave at the drop of a hat. Now, I want to interject here. He did make them relevant. There's a period there. He made them relevant. Was anybody else thinking about an HBCU? Nobody. Nobody was thinking about any other historically black colleges and university prior to him taking over there in Mississippi. And if they were, please let me know. I'm holding. There was nobody thinking about it. So he did put him on the map. So much so that I believe it was Alabama. As Sandy's still here, I think it was Alabama. They were fighting for a player with. I think it was Alabama. Was up to Alabama and Jackson, and I think Alabama got the player. I don't know, but Alabama, we some bad boys down here. I mean, these cats out here in Alabama play. My grandsons play, and they're young, and they're already recruiting the kids at the point to where my grandsons are. All right. So he did make them relevant. Period. Talking about relevant again. Relevant, period. He made them relevant. Listen, the majority of the black colleges, the HBCUs, are so poor and poverty stricken. It is unbelievable. They have bugs. They have rats. They have all different kinds of things going on inside of their dorm rooms. All right. Their dorm rooms are dilapidated. The buildings are dilapidated. Jackson State was a terrible mess. It was a terrible mess before he came. So what was he supposed to do? Turn into God all of a sudden? No, he did what he was supposed to do. He came, he did what he needed to do. He made men out of those that he kept, those that could stay, those that could put up with what he had to put out. He made men of them. He did his gig while he was there. He built up not only the team, but he built up the community around it. What more do you want them to do? See, that's the problem with black folk. That's the problem with black folk. If you give them a rope, they want to be a cowboy. You give them a rope, they want to be a cowboy. You give them an inch, they want to take the whole entire mile or 2 or 3 or 4. They're never satisfied. So y'all can't stand on your own without this man standing in the gap constantly until you just wear him on down and there's nothing left. And then all the ships have sailed. Now, I submit going to Colorado was a good thing. Why? Because even though they have a very bad score or the past 16 years, baby, there's nowhere to go but up. There's nowhere to go but up. And who better to do it than him? We need men right now. Y'all ain't following the big picture that I'm pushing. The big picture that I'm pushing right now is testosterone. The big picture that I'm pushing right now is that our men have been so broken down via the media. Okay? Broken down. Everybody's breaking down the man. And here's the thing. There's not a lot of discrimination in that pot. They're discriminating against men, period. Okay? You straight? You got me? Yeah, that part. So, he went to Jackson State primarily because he wanted to be the head coach, but didn't want to ever be anybody's assistant coach. That's what they have to say. Okay? But he didn't want to be anybody's assistant coach. So he had to find somebody that would give him a job and make him a head coach so that he could have that on his resume. And then he could take that to try to get the job that he actually wanted, said Jones, whose HBO series, Game Theory, with Bomani Jones, returns for its second season, a shameless plug they do. Jackson State was the place that could do it. And he did a lot of good work while he was at Jackson State, but all the bigger grandiose notions of what he was doing for somebody else, no, it was what it always is. He did it for Deion. And that's fine. If you don't tell us that you're trying to do it for somebody else. Negro, please. You are a jealous, bitter nobody who obviously was promised something with regards to your little stank show. Okay? The little stank show that they just gave you the shameless plug for. You say this, and we're going to go ahead and make sure you be all right for the next 2 seasons of your little stank show. Yeah. How you going to speak for this man? This man had to take a bath in the swimming pool because the city that you wanted him to be so faithful for, where the university now sits, did not take care of their water. They didn't take care of the water situation. The water situation is still bad. Okay? It's just that we are adapters. We adapt. If this was any other place, some people would be like, what the heck? Get this crap going. Get this right. They will be down there on the steps of City Hall shouting, get it fixed. But we don't do that. We just learn how to adapt. Oh, we got to go buy water? Okay. Oh, we got to go boil water? No problem. We got you. That's what we do. And that's what they're doing in Jackson right now. That's what they're doing in Flint right now. That's the reason why you don't hear, because we just adapt. And that's sad. But now you see cats like this coming out of the woodwork, talking about him, saying the things that he did not do. When you go and look at everything that this cat did, all the way down to getting suits for these young men. Talking to cats that had suit companies. Okay? To give these guys clothing to wear. He taught them how to be men. He taught them how to be on time. He taught them how to keep their word. He taught them, if you don't show up, don't expect for me to start you. That's real life. But you got cats that sit around here and just want to talk about him. They want to talk about him. They got a lot to say. Ain't that amazing? Negroes. Let's continue. He says, I wouldn't have come in and said, God sent me here to fix HBCUs, and God decided in the middle of it that he was supposed to leave? That's what he said. So God decided he was supposed to leave? Let me see you guys in the chat. I don't see anything moving in the chat. I need to know that I'm still live over on that side. So hit a 1 or something. I don't know. Okay. All right. So it says, maybe God wants 10% of $5 million and not 10% of 375,000. If God can do the math, I understand why it is, said Jones of Sanders, who sparked controversy over the weekend by encouraging his players to enter the transfer portal to make room for new, better recruits. He's telling them what's real. You guys are trying to make these young cats out to be pansies, but he's telling them what's real. Do what you need to do. He sold a dream and then he walked out of the dream. People have a right. People have the right to get mitigated gall. People have the right to be critical of that. No, they don't have a right to be critical of nothing. You know why? Because he's done more for them in the short amount of time that he has been there and any other HBCU. Why? Because now they're looking at him. Now they're going to recruit. Now they're finding out what's really going on. All right? Now they're really, really looking at people that are at these colleges, and they're not sleeping on them like they once were. So he did do a lot for them. But what he also did, which is the reason why I say that his time is moving, is he pushed a couple of narratives, trusting and believing in something that he should not have dealt with at all. He should have kept those things to himself. He should have not been involved in any of that stuff. He should have left all of that alone. But hindsight is always 20/20. Listen, you guys, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for hanging out with me. I really do. I really do. All of this will be down below in the description. There's a couple of areas here that I wanted to show you guys. I'm sure you guys have already seen his foot. Have you guys? Let me show you. I won't show you the other part that I did see because that was sad, but I'm going to show you guys just a couple of things here. Wakey. Let me give you guys a little bit of music. Relax. A lot of other stuff, but I just want you guys to see his foot, see his leg, and is his fiance Tracy Ross, the old Tracy Ross? When I saw her, I was like, gosh, she looks a lot like Tracy Ross. She looks a lot like Tracy, and I heard him say the name Tracy. This is him. He had his left foot, 2 toes on the left foot amputated. And they keep saying stemming from a previous surgery. Okay, whatever. He was hospitalized in the middle of last season when the Tigers finished 11-2. He had dislocated toe along with an inflamed nerve. A lot of stuff, man. There's a lot of cats. I mean, you know, I haven't even talked about things like Irene Cara, but I did, before they took it down, I snatched a few things off of her Twitter page that showed that even though they said that it was, you know, they don't know why or what happened. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. There's a lot of people. So I haven't even kept up with anything. I've been so upset about the fact that all these people are just leaving. I think it's better just to do it at the top of 2023 and just say everybody who went on. There's a lot of sad stuff that's going on right now. There's a lot of sad stuff that's going on. A lot of people are leaving, probably more than likely long before they should have. Listen, in Jackson, Mississippi, it's estimated that 38,383 of the 156,915 people live in poverty. So he did something that they'd never seen. He gave those young children hope, even at the Pop Warner stage. All right? The poverty rate in Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, is 24.5%. How many people in Jackson, Mississippi live in poverty? There was the number I just gave you. How does the poverty rate in Jackson, Mississippi compare to the average of Mississippi? Well, the poverty rate in Jackson is 26.29% higher than the Mississippi average. And in Jackson, Mississippi, it's estimated that 24.5 of the 156,915 people live in poverty. In Mississippi, 19.4 of the 2,861,627 people live in poverty. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of poverty. How does the poverty rate in Jackson compare to the United States? The poverty rate in Jackson, Mississippi is 91.4% higher. And y'all want him to stay there, making 300 grand. But y'all not going to make up the difference. You want him to stay there making 300 grand after he done went in there and done everything that he's done. See, Negroes are never grateful. Negroes are never, ever great. They're never thankful. Never, never. Y'all got family members. So those of you all know what I'm talking about. They never, you do one thing. No, you should have done it like this. If you're painting up and down, well, you should have went crosswise. And that's just people in general. But I'm talking about us because it's us that's reaming this man right now, hanging him up by his toes out to dry. 91.41% higher than the U.S. average in Jackson, Mississippi. An estimated of 24.5 of the 156,915 live in poverty. In the United States, 12.8% of the 3,024,173. 84 people live in poverty. 12.8% of the 3 million people. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. And that's a lot of poverty. And y'all wanted this joker to stay out there. Y'all ain't nothing. Y'all ain't nothing. And I sure do hope that homeboy shuts his mouth. I really, really do. Lower it a bit. Thank you, baby. Because I was about to get out of here. So we're out, you guys. We're out. We're out. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for hanging out with us tonight. I want to remind you what we always say on any Felicia Lockhart publications, and that is that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High. I want to remind you guys to take care of yourselves first, and then after you take care of yourself, then you can reach around and take care of somebody else, which is exactly what this guy's doing, because now his coaching staff can really make money. These guys have been with him since he was coaching little toddler kids, little kids in elementary and high school, junior high school, right? Yeah. So now he can pay these guys who've been so diligent with him. All right, what they need. Let's think about that. Greedy son of a guns. Everybody got something to say. After you take care of everybody else around you, I want you to do me a big favor, and that is, until you and I see one another again, please continue to be blessed. You take care.
Lockhart Perspective.